it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And much love going out to the Empowered Harmonizers. And before we get started on today's topic, I just want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have recently donated to the channel. It is with heartfelt gratitude. It's an honor and privilege to be able to present this information to you. And your contribution lets me know that I'm making an impact, a positive difference. So thank you so much for your recent donations. And thank you so much for your input and your comments as well in support of each other. It's a huge part of the community here and towards really getting ahead and really, achieving results. So thank you so much. And I want to get started on today's topic, and that is understanding the emotional manipulation of a covert narcissist. And that is really a sort of sabotaging or a sense of apathy at your accomplishments, at your achievements. They will basically react with a sort of apathetic or destructive comment at your sense of initiative. They will be neither supportive or proactive when you are showing initiative or accomplishments in your daily life or your goals, your aspirations, or your relationship with them. So in other words, in terms of your stride forward, they don't seem to react with any sort of positive support. In fact, if anything, they react with destructive comments, senses of apathy, like you'll never make it, or just shrug it off, or treating as if it's unimportant. And whether you're a child when this occurs, or a young adult, or an adult, it tends to eat away at your sense of your inner guidance, your inner support system, your inner voice, your inner heart, your willpower, and your motivation to persevere or follow up on your dreams, your goals, and that which is important to you. In other words, the things that you might have as your desire, you might just shut it down. You might just give up a sense of willpower or persistence. It just fades away. It doesn't seem important. In other words, that inner fuel seems to shut down very quickly. You don't go very far. You don't support yourself. You don't follow up on your own interests because they just don't seem worth it. After all, it's not important to this person. And this can be very, very destructive because the covert narcissist, by their apathy, by their withdrawal of support or just lack of interest, will then become, sabotaging, and then you then fill your self-importance with their interests. You fill your dreams and desires with their needs. In other words, your life purpose then becomes unimportant or non-existent, and then you take on these very elements of this person as your life purpose, and you become trauma bonded, and furthermore feeling as if your goals, your initiative is non-existent. And so when it comes up, you're very uncomfortable supporting it. And so it gives you really a sort of feeling of purposelessness in life if you don't have this relationship. So this relationship then becomes a more than important position in your life. In other words, your life purpose will then, pivot or be surrounding by this person in your life. And so it causes very much a struggle to follow up any sort of goal you have in your life. Excuse me, I feel like I'm losing my voice here. I have a bit of a cold. And it also kind of ends you up in feeling kind of stranded in a feeling of helplessness. So when I say stranded in helplessness, it means that, really all other initiative starts to fall away. You become like just sort of extinguished. You become anticipating of this person and then finding your next cue from them versus having it self-generated within. When your sense of purpose, like, Napoleon Hill, you must have a sense of definiteness of purpose, and it's within you and not outside of you. So the covert narcissist, by desiring their sense of supply, will have you feel like it has to come, that they will begin to sort of create a cycle where you are supporting of their needs and truncating or annihilating or shutting down of your own. And this is incorrect. The covert narcissist will have you believe to the contrary, that you are really to, be there to support their needs. And they really, because of their lack of empathy, they don't see the unhappiness that can be created within you when this, when this shift of energy occurs. In other words, when you begin to just hollow yourself out and then, derive a sense of life purpose from supporting them, it becomes really sort of switched. It becomes flip-flopped. It becomes what we call an outer locus of control versus an internal locus of control. And so that internal locus of control ends up becoming, the subject or target for guilt. In other words, then you're guilty for saying no to the covert narcissist and turning away from them. In other words, you become hyper-focused on this person. You become hyper-vigilant to the needs of this person. In other words, you become hypersensitized. And then you then become addicted or have a heightened dopamine response to this person's support of you. In other words, it's like an addiction to food. You become hyper-vigilant to them, and any sort of approval becomes like a drug. It becomes a sense of what you're living for, what you're driving for in your life. And this is not the way to have yourself living a life of passion, is because you are not in touch with your own talent, your own interest. You're not receiving, good grades for yourself, your true talents. It's like a moving target. You never know when your next bout of approval is coming through. So I encourage you to take a look at this shift of energy and to see that, the source of support must come from within you and not be based on this person. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope these videos help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.